I always believed that nothing could surprise me, especially when it came to my twin brother, Javier. Our life had always been a symphony of synchronicity. We shared thoughts, dreams, even laughter. But that day, everything changed. A simple conversation after college, a moment when I thought we would only be together to talk about trivia, turned into something I never imagined. Javier asked me a question that left me speechless. Are you gay? That simple question unleashed a series of feelings, emotions, and a connection that would forever change our relationship. Welcome to your favorite gay stories channel, Pride Chronicles. We invite you to subscribe to the channel and give us a like to the video. By the way, we have noticed that more than 90% who watch our videos are not subscribed. Help us with your subscription to the channel. Let's get started. Since we were born, we were always inseparable. Javier and I, identical twins, shared everything, absolutely everything. Throughout our lives, people used to ask us questions as if we were a unit. What's it like to have someone so much like you? Don't you get tired of always having him by your side? But in reality, there was never a definitive answer. There was no tiredness, just complicity, as if our souls were connected in some way that went beyond the physical. We knew each other in a way that no other person could understand. It was almost an unspoken language. We always knew what the other was thinking, and no matter how far apart our voices might be, our ideas aligned almost instantly. When we were kids, people used to look at us funny when we did things like say the same words at the same time or think the same thing without exchanging a single glance. It seemed like magic, but it was just a reflection of how deeply we were connected. Over the years, that connection was never broken. Even though we grew up and started our own lives, the relationship between Javier and I was always special. We moved to different cities to study, but we always kept in touch. Every time we saw each other, the bond was as strong as when we were kids. But what I never imagined was that this deep connection would take an unexpected turn in our lives. Are you liking the video so far? As we know you are, leave us a like and subscribe to the best storytelling channel on the internet. Let's keep going. It was an ordinary afternoon when Javier called me. He was at his apartment in the city, I was at mine. My brother's voice echoed on the other end of the phone with a restlessness I had not heard before. "Do you have a moment?" he asked me. His tone was serious, something rare for him. Javier had always been outgoing, open, no secrets. But that time there was something different. "Sure, what's up?" I replied, intrigued. "It's something personal," he said, his voice trembling slightly. At first I thought it was something related to his work or some health problem, but what he told me next left me completely paralyzed. "Are you gay?" he asked suddenly, as if somehow looking for an answer he already suspected. I couldn't help but be silent. The phone was buzzing in my ear, but my mind was somewhere else. How did I answer that? Javier had never asked me a question like that before, let alone with that sincerity in his voice. The truth was that I had never openly discussed my sexual orientation with him. Although I had always had the feeling that we both shared certain inclinations, we had never touched that subject so directly. Finally, after a few seconds that seemed like hours, I responded with a simple and honest statement. "Yes, Javier. So am I." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. I didn't know what to expect, whether he would accept it naturally or be uncomfortable. But finally, his voice came out, soft and somewhat nervous. "Hey, wait. Before we continue, we invite you to give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Also tell us if you want to hear a particular story. Let's continue." I thought so. That's why I wanted to ask you. But I didn't know how. I felt my heart beat faster. Javier and I had always been very close, but this conversation, this moment, changed everything. The bond that united us, that connection that was almost telepathic, now had a new dimension. "Why, what do you think about that?" I asked, not knowing what else to say. I felt a mixture of emotions, but also a sense of relief, as if we could finally talk without restraint. "The thing is, well, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I can't help it. I'm attracted to you, bro." His confession left me speechless. Even though my mind had already connected the dots, hearing those words from Javier took me by surprise. "What?" I said in disbelief. "Yeah, I know it sounds strange, but we've been so close our whole lives, and now that I think about it, I feel something else. Like our relationship is deeper than we thought." The air became heavy in the room, and although there was a part of me that didn't know how to handle the situation, another part felt a strange calm. Something inside me told me that there was a larger meaning to all of this, that we couldn't help it. Maybe we had always been one, and now somehow that was being reflected on a deeper, more emotional level. Javier, I don't know what to say. My voice trembled, but not out of fear, but out of a mixture of confusion and desire. We can give ourselves time to think about this. It doesn't have to be right now, but I think we should talk about it. I don't want to lose what we have, but I also feel very strongly about you. Hey, please don't forget to subscribe and like us for more content like this. It helps us to grow this community more. Let's continue. There was a long silence between us, and it all seemed so confusing, but at the same time so clear. In the end, we both knew what we felt, but we were also terrified by the magnitude of what we were suggesting. The sibling relationship was something that could not be taken lightly, let alone something that society could easily understand or accept. But there was a strength in us at that moment that was greater than fear. Finally, we decided to meet at his apartment to talk further about what had happened. When I arrived, the atmosphere was charged with tension. We looked at each other in silence, as if we were looking for a sign, a confirmation that we were doing the right thing. Javier came over and, without saying a word, hugged me. The embrace was warm, but there was something else in it, something deeper than any other we had shared before. When I pulled away from him slightly, I looked into his eyes, and without thinking, I kissed him. It was a gentle kiss at first, but then it quickly intensified, as if the full weight of our relationship, our connection, was overflowing in that moment. Our lips intertwined, and the emotions we had held back for so long came to the surface. It was as if all the time we had spent together, all that we had shared, led up to that instant. There was no doubt in my mind. I felt the same way he did. Despite what it might mean to us, what we felt was real, and we couldn't ignore it. After that kiss, we were both silent, not knowing how to continue. But there was a sense of peace in the air, a feeling that, despite how confusing everything was, something in us had naturally aligned. Then we went straight to bed to do it. We had sex for several minutes, which seemed like hours, moans filling the air. Finally, we looked at each other again, and without saying much more, we embraced again. This time, secure in the knowledge that what we had shared was not something we could leave behind. From that moment on, our relationship changed. Not immediately, but little by little, we allowed ourselves to explore what had emerged between us. We knew it must be something hidden, something that no one could discover, but we could not deny what we felt. Between whispers and furtive glances, we began to live something that we never imagined would happen, but that somehow had been inevitable. The bond we had always shared, that deep connection, took us to a place where love had no limits. What happened after the kiss was something neither of us could have foreseen. Javier and I spent the next few days in a sea of contradictory emotions. On the one hand, we felt liberated, as if by finally allowing ourselves to be who we really were for each other, a whole new world was opening up to us. On the other hand, there was a weight on our hearts. We knew that our relationship, though deep and authentic, could not be easily understood by others. We saw each other in secret, sharing stolen moments when words were unnecessary. The passion and connection that had been born between us needed no explanation, but furtive glances and whispers full of emotion told us everything we needed to know. And well, that's all for today. Let us know if you liked this story. Also, leave us a like and share it with your friends so they don't miss it.